NXT once again begged the question with their latest takeover, a WarGames no less, the second since the revival of the WarGames. And they asked us, why do we watch Raw? Is it because it fucking licks? Is that it?
The only reason to watch it now.
Literally no reason to keep on watching the main roster, especially roster.
What are you, Nigel?
Yeah, especially after watching any NXT anything, just a regular taping beats massive events from the main roster.
Pretty sad.
So when they set up a big event, especially like WarGames, or just any takeover, but WarGames is a big one, you're pretty much expect to be down on the main roster forever afterwards because they just show them up every single fucking time. And this was yet another instance of NXT going, hey, main roster, you fucking reek, check us out. This is how you do everything. And then we just get sad afterwards because we know these people are eventually going to end up on the main roster where they get ruined by Vince and company. They're just going to be, look at AOP.
Yeah.
None of the threat they had is existing in the main roster. Anyway, in the meantime,
they were in the first WarGames.
Yeah, they were in the first WarGames and it was awesome. Now they're just guys that do things and win titles in the stupidest way.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the meantime, we do have NXT to enjoy these people's talents. And oh boy, do they put it all out there on the mat.
Some more than others.
Speaking of Matt, we got Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno in the first bout. That wasn't really a bout.
Yeah.
It wasn't scheduled. Or, obviously it was booked. But officially it wasn't scheduled. There was some pre-show back and forth. And of course it had been set up when Matt Riddle debuted. And this is actually kind of surprising in the sense that Matt Riddle... Clearly, they have a lot of confidence in him as a star.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have done this. That or they hate Cassius Ohno or something. Which, I mean, come on. They've treated him pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah.
Considering his talent.
He's kind of been having that side story, I guess, where he's complaining to... I want to say Riker, but I know it's not Riker. What's his name?
What the fuck are you talking
Regal.
about? Regal.
Yeah.
Riker?
Shut up. I couldn't remember his name.
Anyway, yeah. Ohno's been cast to the side as of recent, and it has to probably a lot to do with his weight.
Yeah.
That was the thing before, and it's probably a thing again. The cottage cheese legs ain't helping Cassius. I'm just saying that's coming from a bucket of cottage cheese and a bucket of lard. So anyway, the point is, I'm thinking though it's Matt Riddle. They just have big confidence in him, and here they go, man. It was just some pre-show nonsense between them. Matt Riddle struts out there, cuts his little bro swagger, and challenges Ohno to come out. And for some reason, the match is official all of a sudden, complete with ref and bell. And it was literally 1 second and it's over. But it was cool, man. This is how you do one of these things. Surprising, out of the blue, what the fuck moment. Knee to the face to Ohno, and Ohno is fucking out. Matt Riddle looks on top of his game, kept to his word, and looks like the next big thing. So
yeah, and it was clearly just like a crowd pleaser moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all right. We can have some of those every once in a while.
Yeah, again, this is how you do stuff like this. Where it's actually surprising, not like, oh, cool, we're watching Raw and this is supposed to be surprising, but it's super not. No, this was surprising. It was, yes, crowd pleasing. And, it laid the groundwork for something in the future between these two and or Matt Riddle and anyone. So that was cool. That was a cool beginning. But the official events began when old Kairi Sane, a.k.a. Miss Flying Elbow, went up against, once again, fourth time, against Shayna Baszler. Now, in the main roster, this would be, oh my God, why are they doing this again? But on NXT, it's hell yeah, they're doing this again.
Yeah, evil baby.
You hear that? Fucking main roster, it doesn't stink. Doesn't have to stink the 50th time you do it. It can actually be fucking awesome. Now I've got to say this, as the first official match of the night, I don't know about you, but I was like, man, this set a bar right here.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Mm-hmm. So this could have all gone downhill from here, just based on how far above anything that we normally see from WWE this set the bar for. But this is NXT. So what it really meant was we're just going to see a bunch of quality-ass matches, and thankfully that was the case.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that at the time, but we suspected it highly because, again, it's not the main roster we're watching. Anyway, Kairi versus the big baby, and I don't mean she's a crybaby. I mean she looks like an evil baby, Shayna Baszler. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match. Excuse me.
A rarity.
A rarity, yeah. And I mean, not in Europe, Mexico.
True.
But in America, for sure.
They overdo that over there.
Yeah. And it was, of course, Kairi calling in her rematch clause for the belt. Anyway, I don't know who you wanted to win in this. I could have gone either way. But I was rooting for Shayna more than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could have gone either way. Either way, either character would have benefited. Period.
Yeah.
And that, again, that's how you do it, main roster. Not 50-50 booking. Not, let's just roll this sucker out for another 50 years. Nope. This story's been going on for a while.
Yep.
And every time it matters.
They let it kind of, cool off for a little bit, and then they bring it back up.
Yeah. Now, this was, as we expect from Shayna, hard-hitting, and as we expect from Kairi, high-flying. So we got both of those things. But Shayna was dominating for the majority of the match at the beginning until old Marina Shafir and, the tranny-looking one, Jessamine Duke. Dude, I swear that's a dude. That's got to be a dude, right?
Jessamine Dude.
Yeah. It's a dude, man.
I would still hit it. I'm not going to lie.
I'd hit it with a 2x4. Definitely hit Shafir, though. Pretty hot. But, old Duke and Shafir came out and interfered. In the meantime, old Shayna was faking a tooth injury, which allowed Duke and Shafir to take advantage of Kairi, which led to a Kirifuda clutch from Shayna, and she got the first fall over Kairi. So we already expected the second fall to go to Kairi. I mean, that's usually how these things go. And that could seal in the main roster, that would have been like, well, it's going to be boring from now on. But here, it's not. We're saying something here, main roster. Anyway, for the second fall, yes, eventually Kairi did get the win. But that was because of interference from some of her pals. Dakota Kai, hot, by the way, in jeans. High five for that. And Io Shirai came and did an insane moonsault, and this time didn't miss completely, thankfully.
It's kind of freaky how she does it without even looking.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, you're going to break her head there.
Kind of reminds me of Ariel Star doing his little head dive.
Yeah.
Doesn't even care if they're going to catch him. He just hopes they do.
Yep.
Anyway.
Little noggin.
Yeah, man. It was an insane elbow in the ring, but that was after she did a few outside. It was pretty awesome. Anyway, second fall goes to Kairi. Third fall ended up going to Shayna, and this was actually pretty cool the way it was done. Normally a roll-up or a reverse of this style is a letdown, but the way it was done here was Kairi had built up so much steam behind her that you were like, she's got it, man. Yeah. She's got this cemented.
Everything was coming out Kairi, I guess.
Yeah, and the tables were leveled outside because she had her own team supporting her back there. So everything looked good for Kairi. She goes for that insane elbow once again, but Shayna, in the last bit effort, rolls her up, and it actually looks good. Main roster. Anyway, man, they do that all the time in the main roster.
Bad.
Roll-ups suck on the main roster, but anyway, here it looked great, and Shayna stole that win, and it was good, man. And honestly, that's the best result you could have hoped for. Shayna still needs a little bit more time with the belt. And just building her up and building Shafir and the dude also, who are now apparently doing house shows and stuff. That's all good. That works. And Kairi, of course, gets more crowd sympathy. Nobody loses in this, not even the loser. Take some notes, damn Raw. What'd you think about this little match? And give it some thoughts, final thoughts on it.
I think Kairi looked surprisingly strong. I mean, she's looked strong before, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the way they started with her just kind of beating on her, on the Evil Baby for quite a while.
Yeah.
And she was going hard and fast. It was good. Everybody looked good. Like you said, it was kind of hard. It's hard to have any complaints.
Or ability to talk, apparently.
Yeah, I'm Nigel.
Nigel stuff. Look, Nigel's commentary.
It's bad.
Mauro is so good. Mauro Ranallo is so good at commentary that even of his excessive phrases, just extremely exaggerated phrases.
Ludicrous
they work.
References.
Yeah. Hyperbolic to the max. But the moment he throws it over to Nigel just kills it every time.
Like, yeah.
I would be a better commentator, and I suck.
So I'm the Nigel of this channel.
To be fair, I'm the Percy. I'm just shitting myself.
That's a good point.
Hashtag Percy shat himself that one time.
Yep.
Anyway, the next match was one that this story has been building up for over a year now, to some regard or another. I'm not saying directly Gargano versus Black, but I'm saying Gargano versus Ciampa led to this, and that's been brewing for over a year. So this is how NXT does organic stories, man.
Organo?
Come on, man. Shoot you for that. Anyway, Nigel, this is how they do organic stories. They develop them over the requisite time, naturally. They don't shove them in your face, force feed them to you over the course of 3 weeks and expect you to care about a fucking match. No, they let them develop at their own pace.
They don't introduce glasses and then later on they get broken and you're supposed to give a shit.
Yeah, fuck that shit. NXT knows how to do it. They've been fostering this match for a long time because it started with a completely different opponent for Gargano. It started with Ciampa, which in itself, that breakup was fostered beforehand. Yeah. This is years in the work, and it's working. Says something. Anyway, Gargano versus Black. This was basically a grudge match because it was revealed that Gargano was responsible for Black being beaten up, which of course was just kayfabe for keeping Black out of the works for a while because he got injured. That being said, I will have to say this. Was it clearly obvious that Gargano did it? Yes. Did it matter? No. Because it was so well done that you didn't care and you were invested in the characters. And the main roster would have been like, I already know who it is and I don't care. Anyway, whatever. We cared about both these guys. Black's my boy and he was back. And let me tell you, and I don't know if you'll agree with this, but it seemed that he didn't even miss a beat.
Yeah.
Fuck that. It seems like he came back hotter than ever before.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think in this match he showed more aggression, I guess, than he has before. He also showed a lot more dong, as in he had the biggest freaking cup known to man.
Look, we don't want to point out the obvious, but it needs to be pointed out because walk culture's not going to point this shit out. They're not dong obsessed like us. Fucking Aleister Black's cup was humongous. It was distractingly huge.
Pretty large.
It was like, I don't know, it was like a cylinder in his pants.
Yeah.
And it was just verified that it wasn't his dong, it was the cup because, at one point his underwear, his tights got pulled up into his butt crack and we saw the bottom of the cup.
Yeah.
On the ass cheek. So you're like, man, what's with this cup? Is there going to be a nut spot? There was no nut spot. For shame, mind you.
Yeah, I was expecting the nut spot.
Yeah, it was a strange cup, to say, a little distracting at times, but not as distracting as that guy in the front row that kind of looked like a living ape.
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, what the fuck is with that guy's face, man? Anyway, whatever the fuck. We're not talking about mega cups or distracting ape men. We're talking about Gargano versus Black, and as you would expect from two of the best wrestlers in the biz, this was fucking epic. It started a little bit worrisome. I mean, really, I had nothing to worry about. But I was like, man, after that last match, how are they going to live up to this?
Yeah, it was mostly just that.
But fuck, man, this thing picked up so much steam and was so hard-hitting. A bunch of great spots. And yeah, it was really, I mean, both of them, of course, had amazing spots. Gargano doing that dive, being met by a knee, etc. But it was one of those where you're just like boggled at the talent of these people. It was awesome, man. I don't know. What do you think about this little match?
Yeah, it was pretty great. And given that they just kind of barely introduced their rivalry, they were teasing it for a while, but, they barely just had a confrontation last week. It was surprisingly effective despite it being pretty new.
Yeah.
Kind of expect that kind of thing with like the Ciampa stuff where it was leading up to something, so there's big, stakes behind it. This baby was like a week 2 maybe build up, and it was still freaking badass. I kind of hope it continues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it will. It kind of seems like a transitionary feud, but it would be great if it did, because I kind of want to see these dudes in the match again.
Yeah.
In another takeover.
It did have that kind of air of conclusivity to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could see it easily going either way. And again, main roster, that's a good thing. When you could see something going, that's a good ending. Or a good beginning.
Yeah.
Instead, main roster, this sucks. Fucking raw licks. Anyway, the main roster, this is not. I know I keep harping on that, but fuck! Raw licks, man! Raw's the worst! Anyway, whatever. Gargano versus Black, yes, like you say, epic. The ending went to my boy Black. I could have gone either way. Whoever wins, we win. But yeah, I think the right person did win. You know, he'd been out for that long. He'd earned that revenge, quote unquote, part of the storyline. And yeah, like you said, it was very effective in being emotionally investing, despite the fact it's not that it was a new thing. It's that it was in the back burner because of his absence. So they brought it to the forefront once he returned, and it worked that effectively. Because again, good stories told in time have a lot of impact. And yeah, man, it ended with old Alistair getting out of Gargano escape, barely getting out of one. It looked like he was going to tap out, and eventually turning that into a spinning knee that looked pretty vicious. 2 black masses, and Gargano was out. And that was the win for old Blackie boy. Awesome. Loved it.
Blackie boy?
And that's what I call him. He black masses me every time.
Yep.
In the butthole. So it kind of feels good, but it hurts.
Oh, God.
Anyway, next is Ciampa, the boy, Blackheart himself. Or what they call him? They called him something stupid. Anyway, Nigel did, of course.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, man, Nigel sucks. Anyway.
You know, for an Englishman, he has a horrible grasp on the English language.
Really? Although I will take Nigel over any of the main roster commentators.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Except maybe Renee.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Anyway.
She does go, uh-oh, a lot, though.
She does, which brings us back to old 93, but whatever. Yeah, next was Ciampa versus the Dream himself, Velveteen Dream. This was for the championship. And, you know, Dream had kind of muscled his way into the championship scene. You know, it was his time. It felt like this was going to be his time. But at the same time, I was like, man, Ciampa hasn't really had that belt for long. But again, I don't know if you'll agree with this. Could have gone either way, and I would have been happy.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If whoever won, it would have been great. But I assumed Ciampa was gonna retain.
And I told you before the match began that this was kind of like a weird spot that the Dream is in. But you did point something out. But let me say what that was, and that's the Dream has lost all of these championship bouts.
Yeah.
So if Ciampa would have lost, it would have been, damn, he didn't spend a lot of time with that belt.
Yeah.
And if Dream loses, it's like, damn, he lost again. So it was iffy territory going in, potentially, but they pulled it off magnificently. And the reason is, yes, Velveteen lost again, but he looked as amazing as he always does, losing.
Yeah.
So it's like if he didn't even lose.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, this dude just pulled magic out of his butthole. Because
literally.
Because it's loose from all the ass bucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just a fantastic match, man. It really built up incredible steam. Fast-paced. Again, it kind of built up to that fast pace.
Yeah.
But it was amazing once it got there.
Ooh.
Yeah, once it got there, you're like, damn. Velveteen... I gotta say that I was, again, like with the Gargano Black match, I was like, how's it gonna beat these other ones? But it it just stepped up and, you know...
Yeah,
sat right up there with him.
Velveteen has a way of, like you said, looking good in defeat, and every time he loses, it feels like it's gonna be his go away match. Like he's gonna move up in the roster, and you're gonna be like, yeah, that was a badass way to end his NXT thing. And then he comes back, and you're like, cool, he's still there.
Yeah, because once he hits that main roster, you know they're gonna drop the ball on that shit. First thing to go, his gayness.
Yeah.
Second thing to go, any moves that he does. Third thing, you know, his presence, because he probably won't be there, a la Ty Dillinger. Yeah, main roster stinks. Anyway, there was a couple of cool ass hallmarks in this, and the first one I gotta point out is that at one point Velveteen is choking, and he spits out the stringiest spittle of all time.
Oh yeah,
that sucker was hanging, man, and then, like a John Cena turd out of his mouth.
What? And Ciampa grabs his mouth, and that baby doesn't rip. It's like, dude, it's still freaking there somehow.
That shit was made out of like Spider-Man's web fluid, man.
No shit. She got Frank Reynolds man spider in there.
Yeah, man, that spittle was not leaving, so Ciampa just rubbed it into his face.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it worked. I got rid of it eventually. Although I'm sure it's still, you know, coating his damn fucking face. Anyway, at one point, old Velveteen actually makes Ciampa tap, so that kind of lightens the load on him losing. It was an illegal move he used, but he did tap. So, you know, there was even a chant, you know, he tapped out, whatever. But the highlight, I think, of the match is
before we hold on. Mm-hmm. Highlight of the night.
Highlight of the night, yes. But
highlight of the year.
Before we get to the highlight of the decade, we have to point out that Velveteen is doing something once again that I encourage him to do more, and that's just taking Hulk Hogan's shit and making it gay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hating on Hulk for the racist thing. You know, whatever. You know, people say stupid shit in private. I don't think Hulk's a racist. I think he's an idiot. That's it. That doesn't even matter. If he's racist, I don't give a shit because I've never liked Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he sucks.
I appreciate the fact that he's an icon, whatever. He did a lot for the business, etc. That's cool. But honestly, in all truth, I dislike Hulk Hogan. I think he sucks ass. I think he pumps up the crowd for way too fucking long.
Yeah, I think his arm's looking like saggy old teats now.
I don't give a shit what he looks like. He sucks. He's always sucked to me, man. Always. I'm a Macho Man guy. But anyway, whatever the fuck. Old fucking Velveteen has done this before. He did it again today. He did the Hollywood Hulk Hogan look.
Yep.
He's taken some of the moves, you know what I'm saying, and just appropriating them.
Yep.
And it's awesome, man. The gayer you make Hulk, the happier I am. It's hilarious. Anyway, but that's not the event of the decade. Oh, no. The event of the decade was at one point, in an attempt to pin Velveteen, Ciampa goes for the pulling of the tights.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the ref catches him, and you know, it's a false... it's a close call, but when he pulled them babies, man, them tights, he pulled them straight off the fucking nalga.
See that cheek. Now, I missed the initial pull down, but I caught the follow-up 50 pull downs, or the 50 showings of the old butt cheek.
Yeah, dude, fucking Velvet... Somebody got a whole-on view of that butthole, because... Velveteen's ass was on full display, and he was like in a bent over position.
Yeah, he was.
You know, kind of like the ass sticking up in the air type of thing. And that Nalga went high, man.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I just saw his any other person, we would have been like, come on, man, that fucking Nalga's out. Since it was Velveteen, I mean, we even high-fived over the fucking butt cheek.
I'm not even gonna lie.
It's hilarious, man.
It was the greatest thing ever.
Call us childish for that, but we celebrate a good Velveteen butt cheek.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's his new name now, the Velveteen Butt Cheek.
Lars Butt Cheek would have been great, too.
Lars Butt Cheek would have been disturbingly hairy, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
like
butt cheeks aside, there was another moment that was kind of surprising. I mean, it was scripted, obviously, I hope. But at one point, Ciampa is kind of frustrated at how the match is going after his attempts to take out Velveteen. And he chucks, notes, like a notepad or something at Mauro. Sounds fucking loud as hell.
Yeah.
Mauro looked stunned, so he was selling it pretty good.
Yeah, he looked like he was hurt.
Yeah.
Like emotionally.
Yeah. You know, he's bipolar, so he's going to go kill himself or something. I hope he doesn't kill himself, because then we'll look like complete assholes. But anyway, yeah, man, that was kind of weird. But anyway, it looked like Velveteen Dream was going to win this thing. You know, he did a Death Valley driver or a Dream Valley driver.
The crowd was going for him.
Yeah, he did a Purple Rainmaker. He attempted another elbow onto the apron and missed. And at that point, the table suddenly turned. Ciampa did a mean DDT into the partition area where there was a metal grate, and Velveteen was out. So it was a fantastic end and kind of like a big turn of events. Like, it just looked like Velveteen's time was there, but it wasn't. And Ciampa, of course, still the villain. And on top. So that was a badass match, man. Surprisingly fucking badass. So badass, in fact, that it kind of tarnished the next match for a good while for me. But anyway, you want to add anything about this old little gig here?
Apart from the anus showing, which already would have made it the best match of all time, I think this is probably my favorite match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Velveteen is one of the best on NXT. In general, in my opinion. I hope he doesn't get ruined.
He will. But once he goes to main roster, that's it.
For now, we're enjoying him and his anus.
And his very, very not shy asshole.
Also, R.I.P. Mauro.
Yeah, fucking Mauro, dude. Mauro's awesome, though.
He's great.
Best announcer in the business.
Yeah, you can have the shittiest calls and he makes them work.
Yeah. But next was the main event, the big one, the War Games Last year's War Games was a gobsmacker, jaw dropper. It was badass, dude.
It was pretty
It
good.
was also the last time AOP looked awesome as hell.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the thing. Also, the last time Sanity looked awesome as hell, because you know what happened with them in the main roster? Nothing! Nathan!
He also cut his head open pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, old Wolfie. But now he has plenty of time to heal because he's not wrestling at all.
It's true.
Fucking main roster, baby. Sucks. Anyway.
And that's SmackDown, too.
So I fear that one of these guys, any of the guys involved, are going to the main roster now because this is a big one. War Games is pretty big. But it was Undisputed Era. Undisputed. I pulled the Nigel there. Undisputed Era. All 4 members. Bobby Fish returned right before War Games with his little fish teeth. And they went up against old Ricochet, our boy. Pete Dunne, my boy. I mean, I don't know if he's your boy too, but he's definitely my boy.
I enjoy him.
And, the War Raiders, which, we care about somewhat, right? We don't hate them.
I'll say this before we get into the match. I haven't been sold on the War Raiders at all. I think this thing is really corny. I don't like that guy's diaper. But this match was good.
Yeah, man.
So,
I think this is the best showing they've had thus far on NXT. And it's no slight against the War Raiders. Don't get me wrong.
No, it's just we don't know their past. We're just seeing them on NXT. I mean, they haven't done much.
I've seen them on ROH, and even then I was like, all right, they're cool, I guess. That was it. That was it for me. Like a pedestrian. All right, they're cool. I get why people like them.
They haven't gotten to do much cool yet. Yeah. So we'll see.
But here they did show what they are. They're brutes. They showed that strength angle to them, and they played it pretty well in the dual cages. But anyway, as you know, people are released piecemeal in War Games. The first 2 in the ring were Cole and Ricochet. Next came Kyle Legs playing that guitar, O'Reilly.
At this point, Nigel made it very clear they didn't know how War Games worked.
Fuck it, yeah, dude. And not only that, he did it later on. Like, oh, this is happening? Like, man, the fuck? Haven't you not read any of the rules?
I know I interrupted, but I kind of had to.
Anyway, like I said, Cole and Ricochet started. Then O'Reilly came out, followed by Hanson. At this point, it was really pedestrian for me. It wasn't anything great.
Yeah.
It really got great for me, or started getting great for me when old Roddy came out. And maybe I'm biased because I love me some Roderick Strong. But once he came out, the match suddenly started getting a little brutal. Lots of back-breaking action from old Rod. And, there was a faster pace to it. Rowe came out next. And, so there was double the insane brute strength in the ring. Things started to cook. You know what I'm saying? Adequately enough, a fish flopped onto the frying pan for that cooking time. Because I was going to say Albert Fish, which is a serial killer. Yeah. Bobby Fish was released next.
Big fan of Albert.
He was weird. Bobby Fish came out and he locked Pete Dunne with some chains into his cage to delay the time that he would spend in War Games, or rather, to delay the start of the War Games.
Yeah.
And at first we were questioning the logic behind this.
You were questioning.
I was questioning the logic behind this. Bobby Fish threw that key out into the crowd. And I still question the logic of it because it could have been a matter of just go get a fucking lock cutter or a chain cutter, which they did 50 years later when it was Pete Dunne's turn. But whatever, it didn't even bother me. Whatever. Fish gets in the ring and he introduces chairs and shit with the Undisputed Era logo, which leads Nigel to wisely reveal that this was a premeditated thing. Look, man, NXT commentators are not main roster commentators. They don't lay on the exposition thick.
So when something like that happens, it's bad.
It's fucking frustrating when fucking this asshole spoon feeding you shit. You're like, dude, go to the main roster then, bitch. I don't want to fucking. Obviously, that's. Shut up.
It was met with me yelling and Morrow being quiet because he was like, ooh.
Morrow did not care about that line. But anyway, they introduced chairs. There was a lot of chair play, shall we say. And then they had oh my God, man. Then they had the whole key thing happen, where they're like, oh, we got to go get we got to go find the keys. No, let's go get this lock cut. Like, dude, you had thought this about 5,000 years ago. But the best thing that happened in the interim between all other members in the ring and Dunn coming into the mix, which officially started the War Games, was that Kyle O'Reilly played a chair like a guitar.
Yeah, he did.
The fuck, man. Look, I know we did a video where we mocked him doing that.
Yep.
And some fool took us seriously and was like, I hope he does it
every
more.
time.
Yeah, I hope he does it more to piss you guys off. No, you fool. We actually love that shit. It's hilariously bad. It's bad, but it's likable bad.
Yeah.
It's awesome. He was playing a fucking chair and it looks stupid. And Kyle O'Reilly rocks, so who cares? Also, little factoid for you. He has type 1 diabetes. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So he might die one of these days. Just sugar drops and he's just dead. And it looks like he's playing air, but he's actually just
got
writing.
the beatus.
Yeah. So anyway, Wilford Brimley aside, Pete Dunne, he's finally cut out of his cage. For some reason, I wrote down testicles. I don't know why.
That's weird.
In my notes. But anyway, oh no, wait, it's sticks.
All right.
He introduces kendo sticks, a chain, which leads to chaos later on.
Damn it.
Tables, the
Testicles.
the mix is thrown at cans. Trash cans are thrown in there. So it's going to get a little bit more intense. And intense it does get until that chain spot.
Yeah.
We're all... I don't know what the fuck the point of this chain spot was.
Yeah,
there was never a
led to
conclusion to the chain spot.
I was willing to give it some slack, much like the extreme slack that chain had around that leg, because I thought it was going to lead to something. It didn't, except for tiny hat reveals.
Yeah, this is the chain. This is what I give the chain, a shitty hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point, Kyle loses the chain. I'm sorry, Dunn loses the chain. Kyle O'Reilly picks up the chain and attempts for what seems like 10,000 years to wrap Pete Dunne's foot in it.
I guess.
I don't know why.
I'm thinking he was gonna try to do like the hold he did with the chain.
I guess.
But it took so long. You're like, just give up.
It took forever, dude. And like he would wrap it, but then he would unwrap it himself, and it was like, what the fuck was that? And whatever. Pete Dunne reverses it, uses the chain on his fingers. That looks ineffective. And then he goes back to the chain.
Yeah, he does.
Anyway, at that point, the cameraman must have realized this fucking stinks.
Just goes. Woo.
So he just goes somewhere else. I don't know what that chain spot was. That was the shittiest part of this match. But the rest of the match, of course, was awesome. Let's talk about that. The conclusion to this match, of course, ended up with Pete Dunne laying a bitter end to Adam Cole with the assist of Ricochet with a frog splash. 450 it looked like. I couldn't tell because he just came out of fucking nowhere. Yeah. But according to Nigel, that's what it was. So I'm going to believe him this one time. But anyway, yeah, so it was an assist, and they both pinned him at the same time, which kind of gave them that, mutual respect feel between the two. Or if you're to believe Pete Dunne's eyes, he really likes Ricochet's crotch.
Yeah, that was weird.
I know he was looking at the belt,
but it looked like his
But
wiener.
the belt was like not even in the shot, and he was like,
yeah, he was
looking at his little dingling,
looking
dude.
straight at that thing.
Anyway, up to that point, we got a lot of fucking action, man. A lot of great spots. Ricochet doing 450 off the top of the cage, narrowly making it.
Yeah.
Really, had it been someone with a less impressive athletic talent, that would have been like a shitty, like it didn't pull it off.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's Ricochet, it just worked. It looked great. He pulled it off.
He touched one person, everybody fell.
Yeah, he hit a couple of people, more one than the other, but everybody did fall like bowling pins, and that's fine. It just looked awesome. Yeah, there was some mean spots in here, some cruel little spots using the environments and what's going on. That shitty chain spot. Was it better than last year's WarGames, the actual WarGames match? No. Was it great? Yes. To be fair, the chain spot, the shitty chain spot, is better than anything in the main roster.
Yeah.
So that says a lot right there. But anyway,
Raw is
except for Becky. Becky's pretty awesome.
Raw is just a chain spot right now.
Yes, a shitty chain spot is Raw. We're not really talking about SmackDown. We're talking about Raw. But anyway, yeah man, great conclusion, I thought. What do you think about that whole WarGames match?
I do think that WarGames both times has not struggled, but it has started off pretty slow and somewhat uninteresting. The first round.
You're talking about the match
Yeah,
itself.
when it's just two people.
Yeah.
It happened last year. It happened this year again. But once you get more people in there, it's interesting. So maybe they got to cut down the 5 minutes maybe a little because I don't know. But once it started, it was pretty damn great. Yes, the turning point was your boy, Chris Benoit, a.k.a. freaking, what's his name?
Roddy?
Yeah, I was trying to.
You remember fucking Chris Benoit, but you don't remember Roddy?
I'm not gonna lie, I threw the Chris Benoit thing not only because his body is somewhat like him, but because I was trying to buy time to remember his name, which I once again forgot.
Old Nigel taking up the spotlight over here.
Well, at least I'm not shitting myself like Percy.
Look, dude, Percy shot himself that one time, and
Yeah, he did.
we will never forget.
Nope.
Anyway, yeah, man, you're right. Despite the slow beginning, that's not saying anything negative about the match.
No.
Don't get me wrong. They could have literally, this event could have sucked complete elephant ass, and it would have still been better than anything Raw. So that alone tells you something. Yeah, but thankfully it doesn't suck elephant ass. It in fact rides elephants majestically out of the jungle and into the city to conquer, just like Alexander the Great, because NXT proves once again that it is the top tier thing that WWE has to offer. Period. Bar none, without a doubt. Awesome event. Start to finish. Nary a low spot. Except for that chain shit, dude. That chain gotta go. But anyway, let's give a final score to this. Out of 10, what do you give it?
The takeovers are the things that kind of remind me why I like wrestling. Mm-hmm. Raw and SmackDown are the things that remind me why I hate wrestling. And this one, once again, has given me the chills several times during the event. Mm-hmm. Which is something I haven't felt in a long time. So I enjoy it. I got to see Velveteen Dream's asshole, which is always a plus.
2 thumbs up.
Nigel sucked, so that's always a plus, I guess. I think this was really good. I think it was slightly better than the last one. The last one kind of suffered from... Not suffered, but I'll say suffered from slight fast build-up syndrome. This one I think had a better build-up and paid off more, in my opinion. So I'm going to give it a 9.5. I think it was pretty great. The chain spot is the 0.5 that I took off. Because shit, that chain spot.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.5 as well. Same reason. That chain spot, dude. That
horrid.
chain spot was so bad.
The only thing worse than that chain spot was Percy's ass spot.
Anyway, yeah, man, what do you think about this event, guys? Let us know. We absolutely loved it. And now we have to look at, once again, NXT just shows you the best, and then the next day you're like, damn, now I got to watch a main roster event.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet, man. Quality over quantity. That's what it was.
Like my thing.
And that's what we always get. So anyway, tomorrow is Survivor Series. We'll review that as well. I was looking forward to it, but then Becky got injured.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. But anyway, hit like, share, subscribe, those notification buttons, because we are out.
I hear she has a broken face.
Face that runs the place.